James 3:13-15 states, "Who is wise and understanding among you? By his good conduct let him show his works in the meekness of wisdom. But if you have bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast and be false to the truth. This is not the wisdom that comes down from above, but is earthly, unspiritual, demonic. For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there will be disorder and every vile practice. But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits, impartial and sincere. And a harvest of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace." Who do you know who you think is wise? Maybe you automatically think of someone in your church or community whom you look up to. Or maybe you think of someone smart like a rocket scientist or a lab chemist. We all have someone when we think of this question. We look up to those people and highly respect them. When you thought of that person, you thought of someone who has experience and knowledge. James asks his audience the same question. He asked them who they look up to for wisdom. But what wisdom is he talking about? James says there are two types of wisdom. He first talks about earthly wisdom. He says, "This is not the wisdom that comes from down above, but it's earthly, unspiritual, demonic. For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there will be disorder and every vile practice." This wisdom is not from above, but from the devil. The world tells us that wisdom is thinking of yourself, that you should have what that person has, that you should get everything you want no matter how you get it, that you should have the best in life, and to do anything possible to get it. Whether you cheat on your tests to get good grades in school because you think it will get you into good college, and when you're in college, copy someone else's work because you think it will get you a good job one day. And when you get that ideal job and want a promotion, you lie, cheat, and steal everything from the person higher than you to climb the ladder of success. And while it may seem appealing to just think of yourself, James says that nothing good will come from having earthly wisdom. And I don't know about you, but I think we are all guilty of listening to this earthly wisdom. We put ourselves before others. We listen to the temptations of the devil. And the reason is because it's easy. It's easy to obey your temptations. It's easy to give in. It's easy to just say yes to serving yourself and ignoring other people's needs. Even people in the Bible listen to this earthly wisdom. Solomon was one of the wisest people in the Bible. We see in 1 Kings 3:7, God asks Solomon anything he wants, and he responds, "Give your servant, therefore, an understanding mind to govern your people, that I may discern between good and evil. For who is able to govern this, your great people?" He could have asked for anything he wanted, but he asked for wisdom. God granted his request. However, after many years, he listened to the devil's temptation and turned to earthly wisdom. However, there is hope. You have access to something that won't tempt you, but guide you. This is what James talks about as wisdom from God. Wisdom isn't thinking of yourself, James says, but the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits, impartial and sincere. And a harvest of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace. When we have wisdom from God, we discern between good and evil, as Solomon said. One person who comes to my mind when I think of people in the Bible who used the wisdom of God to make good decisions was Job. He had everything the world would think you need to live a happy life. In Job, it says he had 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 female donkeys, and very many servants. It says he was the greatest of all the people of the East. To say this man was well off is an understatement. He was the equivalent of a modern millionaire. Yet it says he was blameless and upright. He had the wisdom of God, and God blessed him greatly. However, when everything was taken from him, he did not curse God. In Job 2:9-10, it says, Then his wife told him, Do you remain firm in your integrity? Curse God and die. But he replied to her, You're not talking like foolish women do. Are we to accept what is good from God, but not tragedy? Throughout all of this, Job did not sin by what he said. Wow. I don't know about you, but I think it would be hard not to wonder if God had forgotten about me. He stayed strong through it all, and God blessed him. In fact, the Lord doubled everything he once had before. Imagine what your life would be like if you trusted like Job did. His wisdom allowed him to trust God even when things were really bad. True wisdom allows us to make good decisions like trusting. When we have wisdom from God, our lives look different than those of the rest of the world. Earthly wisdom is unspiritual, and it says there will be disorder in every vile practice. That is not how a Christian's life should look like. That is not how our lives should look like. Our lives should look like what James describes as wisdom from God. Pure, peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits, impartial and sincere. But James calls us to strive to have wisdom from God because it says a harvest of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace. We need to resist the devil and his temptations. We need to stop following earthly wisdom. We need to follow the wisdom from God and use it to guide our lives.